Hi everyone, this is Mehul Mehta and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how can you build your first quant model. So if you are starting fresh in this field of quantitative finance, or if you have been working in the risk domain for years and trying to transition into quantitative finance, this video is for you. So the first question is, in this video, I'm going to share two things. First thing is how can you build your first quant model. Second thing is how I built my first quant model, and over the last 7 years, how have I transformed all these models into advanced models. Let's talk about the first thing. How can you make a good quant model, or how can you make your first quant model? Okay, so the thing is, there's no magic formula. What you have to do is you have to go look on YouTube how to build certain models and then try to replicate those. I'll give you an example. So let's say if you are trying to price European option or American option, and if you don't know these terms, that is totally fine. I'm just telling you a use case, okay? I'm just telling you a use case. So if you're trying to price a European option, a standard model that is used is Black-Scholes model. Okay, so now you might not have heard about Black-Scholes model, right? What do, you go onto YouTube, type Black-Scholes model in Excel or Black-Scholes model in Python, or what is Black-Scholes models and how to build it. This is something you go and write on YouTube and you'll see n number of videos explaining it. You'll find even my videos on Black-Scholes model. So what you have to do is simple thing. You go watch that whole video of what is the theoretical piece of Black-Scholes model, what is the practical aspect of Black-Scholes model, and just take down all your notes and try to replicate the same model in Excel or in Python. This is the very first step. Because if I give you a model to build as a fresher, you might not be able to build. Even back 7 years back, if someone would have come and asked me, hey, just without any resources, build this model, I won't be able to build it. Even today, I need resources. I need something to refer. So it's a very good practice that you go online, check for some YouTube videos on the piece you want to build, and then just try to replicate. So it will happen that when you try replicating it, you'll understand, okay, this is that, okay, this is stock price, this is strike price, this is time to maturity. You'll kind of understand each and every term and then play with the model. So once you implement, let's say you saw my YouTube video or any other YouTube video on let's say Black-Scholes model, what you do is try to implement the model in a Excel spreadsheet or in Python. Try to change the input parameters. Try to see how much value the output is being changed, or what's the impact of input over the output. So I'll change the stock price, I'll change the strike price, I'll change the time to maturity, and so on, right? And see how much my valuation is changing or my output is changing. This is the first step you have to do. Even when I'll come to my story, okay, in some time. Or what you can do, you can build a binomial tree. This is a second example. You can build binomial tree. Binomial tree is really good for pricing American option. Now you might not know what is binomial tree. It's totally fine. I don't even expect you to know because you are just starting out in this field. What you have to do, go out, check. Okay, first of all, why is binomial tree used? you know why is this model used? Okay, it is used to price American option. If you don't know what is American option, go just look at what is American option and why do we use binomial tree for pricing it. And then just go on YouTube and check binomial tree in Excel or binomial tree in Python. Excel video you will see of mine only, okay? And there are a bunch of other videos. You can either follow their videos or my videos, okay? It's the same, okay? So just go and try to replicate those in the Excel model. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent anything. We have been There are a lot of YouTube videos that shows how to build all these models. You just need to replicate those and try to understand, okay, if I now change the input, how the output will change. That's it. That's how you have to build your first quant model. Now if you say, okay, Mehul, but I'm not interested in derivatives, I'm interested in algorithmic trading, It's totally fine. There are so many algorithmic trading YouTube videos that you will see. Okay, how to get the data, how to build a strategy, how to deploy, how to build the whole machine. Let's say machine learning model for buy and sell, and how to backtest your strategy. All these are already available. You don't have to reinvent anything. Just go try the whole thing in your Python script and see when you run it how how your model behaves. Just go and replicate whatever you see on YouTube or on certain coursework you see. Just go and just try to replicate, and I'm sure you will get a super duper insightful, basically practical implementation of all these models. Okay, so this was about how you should start out. As I said, there's no need to reinvent the wheel, there's no need to try something crazy. Just start with basics, because in our industry, basics are the most important. Every discussion goes back to the basics. Every new model anyone develops, we do compare it with the basics, because the basics is the benchmark. Black-Scholes is the benchmark. Binomial tree is the benchmark. So we will compare whatever new model is, whatever price the new model is giving versus with what the benchmark is giving. Okay, so this is more about how you can develop your first quant model. Now let me tell you how did I develop my first quant model. So it was more of a credit risk model that I developed. So I found this course on Udemy which was credit risk modeling in Python. Okay, and back then I knew Python, I knew machine learning. So for me, the transition from all this data science, machine learning to credit risk was very simple, because credit risk is nothing but as you can say you would be given a data set, and you need to build a model on that data set. Back then, with little understanding, I thought this is what credit risk mean, but that's fine. So back in my academia, back in my bachelor's, I did this coursework that eventually helped me in my practical, in my, you can say, internship back at PwC. So that's where I started, because I've already built that model in Python. I was able to build a new scorecard model in at the workplace. So it was a very smooth transition for me. But because I did implemented a model back then, that was my first model, credit risk model, of probability of default. If you ask me what was the name, probability of default model. First model that I actually built with a huge data set. That's how models are built. Okay, you see some videos, you try to replicate it, and when some new use case comes in, you try to use your old knowledge onto your new data set or onto your new models. That's it. So that's how I built my first creators model. That was my first model that I actually built. And over the years, of course, I have built a lot of different models. Now you might be thinking, but Mehul, how do you get to know, okay, what models to use, or which is a good model or which is not a good model? Of course, we backtest. Whenever we build a model, we do backtest with, okay, what the model is predicting versus what is the actual values. Or if I have built a, let's say, value at risk model, how many times the more how many times it is getting violated. Basically, we there's this term called violated. So how many times this value at risk is getting violated or breached. Okay, it's okay, if you don't know this term, that is totally okay. For this video, you just have to understand that how to build your first quant model is just by looking other resources and try to incorporate those into your systems, or into your Excel, or into your Python. That's it. There's no need to build some crazy model, because I'll tell you, people like, at least in industry, I can tell you, I the people always want you to understand what you have developed. Okay, so if I use a neural network to price American option, people would not like it, industry would not like it. It's fine if a high frequency trading firm would love it. In general, in most of the industry, it won't like, because neural network is so tough to comprehend. You don't know what's happening inside the neurals, right? So always go with the basics. Read the book Option Futures and Derivatives by John C. Hull, or there's this another book which is Paul Wilmot. introduces quantitative finance. Or there's this another book which is um, mathematical modeling by Mark Joshi or something like that on those lines. But Mark Joshi is a good writer, really good writer. Just go read that book, search. Okay, you get to know, sir. You see, okay, these are the models. Let me see some YouTube videos on these models. That's it. That's how you build your first quant model. And I can tell you, I've built so many models over the years. I mean, I even don't have a count of how many models I have built. Okay. But the only thing that have helped me is the skill set. Over the years, I have, of course, when you grow in the industry, you learn a lot of things from your peers, from your seniors, from your juniors, right? So the most important thing is start implementing. If you don't implement, you'll not understand. That is the real insight. If you ask me, the only thing I've learned from the markets is when I build a model and when I implement the model in the markets, the market tells me if I'm doing right or wrong. Okay, so that is very important. So that's all for today's video. I hope you might have got some insight how to build your first quant model. Just to summarize, make sure you watch certain YouTube videos or some resources you find and just follow that completely. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, which means you don't need to develop some crazy model. Just start with the basic models, because when you understand the basic models, that's where your foundations are strong. When your foundations are strong, you will eventually become a good quant modeler. So as I said, if you like this video, please make sure subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for always supporting me. And if you have any doubts related to quantitative finance, please put it in the comment section and I'll be happy to reply to you. Thank you so much and all the best.